Hello everyone, my name is Zoe and welcome back to another reaction video where today we're going to be reacting to the second trailer for the Primitive War movie. If you guys don't know what Primitive War movie... If you guys don't know what the Primitive War movie is, it's a movie based on the book of the same name, but you probably knew that since you watched since many of you might have watched my previous Primitive War trailer reaction and then breakdown movie. But to those of you who haven't, you should definitely go check it out. I'll leave a link in the description below. Oh, and Scooby's back as well. Oh wait, I don't want that. Hey, yeah, look, Scooby's back as well. Hey, Scooby, say hi, say hi. Say hi. Okay. Yep. I've seen a lot of people react to this trailer, so as always, I'm gonna be reacting to this trailer and breaking it down scene by scene. Alright, but without a further ado, let's jump straight in.
I heard you got to. Nice work, Baker. You gotta be a lunatic if you're gonna be a vulture. Let's see what you guys think of this next mission.
3 days ago, I lost my Green Berets. We're gonna drop you in right here, in that valley.
We got our job. Find those Green Berets.
Well, that's oh, feather.
And that's not an option. Listen, my mission is to get my men home, not fight dinosaurs. I'm gonna go find them, dead or alive.
We must survive an hour. Your mission die.
You better get fueled up and get ready.
We're doing what you want. We're probably all gonna die screaming because of it.
Talk about that screaming and die bit.
Wow. August 21st. Alright, now that we've reacted to the trailer, let's break it down. Here we see a helicopter flying in the sky, and we see here that this movie takes place in Vietnam, 1968, which is when the book, which is the same time the Primitive War book series takes place. But as always, I'm not gonna break down. But as always, I'm just gonna break down a few. I'm not gonna break down the whole trailer. I'm just gonna break down little bits of it, cause yeah. And then here, we're gonna just look at the creatures that will appear in this film. And then in this scene we see Utah raptors, and they look very similar to. I think this is what they looked like in the books. I think they had like green coloration on their feathers. I think that's what they looked like. Maybe I think they used their green coloration on their feathers to, like, hide, which is very similar to what lots of feathered dinosaurs would do. They would use their feathers to camouflage and blend in with their surroundings so that they don't get hunted down. Yeah. Then here we see, then this next scene, and then here we see a giant T-Rex. We can only see, and we see that it has little bits of feathers on its neck, which is very accurate. I mean, we did theorize that when T-Rexes were juvenile, it was theorized that juvenile T-Rexes were fully covered, and as they reached maturity, their feathers would ultimately disappear, leaving only little bits of plumage on their head, neck, back, and tail. And then here we see. Oh wait, I can't. Okay, it's hard. Okay, it's a fast. Some of these scenes are fast-paced. Oh, and in this scene we see a Utahraptor in the dark. Yeah, I skipped a scene there. Yeah, in this scene we see a Utahraptor in the dark, and we see its eyes glowing, which is very creepy and really cool. Think it fits in well. Oh, and I think that's another Utahraptor. Yeah, let's go back to the T-Rex. Let's go back. Yeah, and then we see like the tail of a feathered dinosaur waving in the distance, and we see a Deinonychus pulling a soldier. I think this is Deinonychus. In the books, yeah, I think it's Deinonychus. In the books, in the first book I read, in the first book I read, there was like a Deinonychus like pulling a soldier. I don't remember the name, but yeah, they were like pulling him, maybe getting ready to eat him or something. And then this next scene, and then in this other scene we see an Apatosaurus. Nice. Kind of looks it kind of looks similar to the Jurassic World Apatosaurus. Looks very similar. Yeah, and then in this next scene we see the T-Rex, and wow, yeah, and this T-Rex kind of reminds me of like all of the Rexes, and this T-Rex and this T-Rex actually reminds me of all of the T-Rexes we saw in the Jurassic World films. It reminds me, yeah, it looks very similar to Rexy, the Buck and Doe. It kind of reminds me of Rexy from the first Jurassic Park and the Jurassic. Kind of looks, yeah, looks like Rexy. Kind of looks very similar to Rexy. And yes, it's got feathery quills. Yeah, it's got lips too. Yeah, it does look like Rexy, or it looks like Rexy from the first Jurassic Park film. And we see like a soldier running from it. I think this might be the mother T-Rex, because in the first Primitive War book there were like two T-Rexes. There was like a male and a female, like the Buck and Doe. Yeah, the first Primitive War book kind of reminded me. Actually, the first Primitive War book did remind me of the Lost World Jurassic Park, because there were like two T-Rexes, just like in the Lost World Jurassic Park. There were like two T-Rexes, a male and a female, very similar. Yeah, we see two soldiers running away from it, and then we see a Quetzalcoatlus flying over the soldiers, and we see a few more, and then we see like Deinonychus and the song playing in the background. I don't know the name of this song. I just remember it because I used to play it in guitar class with Mr. Delves. Yeah, and we see a Deinonychus trying to eat Baker here, and then we see a group of Hadrosaurs. I don't remember seeing Hadrosaurs in the books. This could be, I don't know what types of Hadrosaurs. I don't know what types of Hadrosaurs these are. This might be Corythosaur. These might be Corythosaurus, and this might be Edmontosaurus. I think so, because it doesn't have the head crest the Corythosaurs have. I think these are the Corythosaurs. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. What types of Hadrosaurs these are. And we see a baby Hadrosaur running up. And then here we see, and then this next scene we see, get to the creatures. Then this next scene we see a flock of Quetzalcoatluses, and I don't know why these soldiers are walking past them. Oh, matter of fact, why are these Quetzalcoatluses not noticing the soldiers that are walking past them? I mean, like, they should notice. And then here we see a Quetzalcoatlus trying to. Then we see Quetzalcoatlus flying, and then we see a Utahraptor or a Deinonychus, I believe, trying to attack the soldiers that are getting in. Yeah, it's a Utahraptor. Yep, 100% confirmed. And then we see the T-Rex trying to attack Baker. And we see the T-Rex trying to attack Ryan, Baker, and Leon. Yeah, in the first Primitive War book, and I think this might be the father T-Rex, because in the first Primitive War book, the father T-Rex chased Leon and Ryan. Yeah, because in the first Primitive War book, the father T-Rex chased Leon and Ryan off a waterfall, and then he like jumped off the waterfall to try and get them. So this scene might be very familiar. So this scene might be similar to the scene in the first Primitive War book. Yeah, so this might be a very similar scene to the first Primitive War book. Then we see a group of Deinonychuses trying to attack the soldiers, but then they die. And then we see two Deinonychuses trying to attack this guy. I think he's gonna die already. I think. Yeah, and I think these Deinonychuses look very similar to the Velociraptors in Jurassic Park. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of those raptors in Jurassic World. Then we see Then we see the main Utahraptor, Cyclops. We already know why it's called Cyclops, because he has a knife jabbed in its eye. So now it's and that's what gave him the name Cyclops, which is fitting since Cyclopses are one-eyed monsters, and this is a creature with one eye. And then we see. Okay, you know what? Okay, I'm sorry. These scenes, I'm sorry. This. Okay, you know what? Maybe I'll slow it down for you guys. Playback speed. And then we see a Quetzalcoatlus, and maybe it has like the spiky tongue that the Quetzalcoatluses in the book have. They had like spiky tongues, and they would like wrap their tongues around people's arms and pull their limbs off. It was really gruesome stuff. Yeah, the tongues were like snakes basically. And then we see a Deinonychus trying to attack this soldier here. And we see a T-Rex, which looks again very similar to Rexy. Rexy in the first Jurassic Park film. Come on. I know this is a different T-Rex I know this is a different T-Rex, but this T-Rex does look similar to the T-Rexes we see in the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World films. Like, the head shape is very similar, and the teeth, they're very similar, yeah. And then we see the oh, wait. And then we see the father. Yeah, this is actually a very similar scene. This is the scene where the father T-Rex jumps off the cliff and lands in a lake to eat Ryan and Leon, but then they escape, and the mother and father T-Rexes communicate with the mother T-Rex on the cliff with her children, and the father T-Rex is the father T-Rex in the water. I don't know how to explain it. And then we see. And then next we see Utahraptors. Two Utahraptors, and I think they're in like the Collider lab building, because in the first book, I think in the first book, the soldiers went into an abandoned lab where collider experiments were being made, and the collider is the reason why the dinosaurs were brought into the real world. Yeah, so this might be I think in the first book, the Utahraptors attack the main protagonists in the lab where the collider was being used. Then we see a whole flock of Quetzalcoatluses. Yeah, there were like I don't know how many Quetzalcoatluses there were, but there were like lots and lots of And then we see Utahraptor chasing the protagonists down a tunnel, which I think is very similar to the scene in the first Jurassic Park film, where Ellie gets chased by a velociraptor down a tunnel in the maintenance shed. And then we see lots of Deinonychuses appearing throughout the bushes. And then we see 2 Triceratopses. In the book Triceratopses did appear in Triceratopses did appear in the first the Triceratopses did appear in the first Primitive War book. And then they were living in a river, and they were getting attacked by a pack of Caprisuchuses, which was not fun for them. The Caprisuchuses did actually attack the protagonists on a boat when they were in the river. Then we see Utahraptor jumping, and this looks very scary. And then we see the same T-Rex we saw earlier. Again, this looks very similar to Rexy from the first Jurassic Park film. And then we see the Utahraptor, and then we see, I think this is a Deinonychus. Yeah, I think it's a Deinonychus attacking this. Then we see a Deinonychus jumping. I don't know what dinosaur this is. It's in like a, it's a Deinonychus. And then in this next scene, we see a herd of dinosaurs drinking on the water's edge. We see Edmontosauruses, Triceratops, Apatosauruses, and I think and Amargasaurus. I don't know if Amargasaurus was in the books, cause I don't know if Amargasaurus was in the books, but it's still cool. And then we see 2 Spinosauruses. Let me bring the speed up. And then we see 2 Spinosauruses basking in the sun on a beach. And these Spinosauruses, they look scientifically accurate. The shape of the spine on their backs looked very similar. They even have the paddle-like tail. And they even have the long crocodilian jaws the real Spinosauruses had. And fun fact, we did see a Spinosaurus in the first Primitive War trailer. A lot of people thought that it was Caprisuchus, but it wasn't. Okay, I know Caprisuchus did appear in the books, but it's not Caprisuchus. Caprisuchus had long tusk-like teeth in their jaws, and the animal we saw in the first Primitive War trailer looked very similar to a Spinosaurus. Yep. And we see that the Spinosaurus has its arms crossed. Yeah. It's very serious. It's yeah, and it looks and fun fact, the Spinosaurus will be replacing the Caprisuchus. So sorry to all of you Caprisuchus fans. And we see the 2 T-Rexes. I think the think the reason why they look like the Jurassic, and I think the reason why they look like the Jurassic Park T-Rex is probably because they probably copied off the Jurassic. Is probably because they copied out. I think the reason why they look like Rexy from Jurassic Park is probably because they copied the design of Rexy so that they can save time, but they added a few little changes like the quills. Yeah, and it's very accurate. I mean, and it's very accurate. Like little feathery quills on the T-Rex's neck. It's pretty accurate because even though all of the dinosaurs in the Primitive War book were very accurate, there were some dinosaurs that were probably scientifically inaccurate, like the T-Rexes in the Primitive War books. The T-Rexes were like fully covered in feathers. Okay, they had like lots of plumage, and that would probably not have been the case. I mean, like real life. It's been theorized that juvenile T-Rexes were fully covered in beautiful plumage, and as they reached adulthood, the feathers would disappear, and only little bits of feathers would be left on the head, neck, spine, and tail. And these could be the mother and father T-Rexes, and this is when August 20th. And this is when the movie will be releasing, August 21st, next month. I'll probably be watching it in Hoyts. What do you guys think? Will you be able to? What do you guys think? Will you watch it? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.